So Joe Biden, also known as Handsy Uncle Joseph, he gave what I would call a fake woke explanation for opposing Medicare for all. So let's take a look at this, and then I'm going to break it down for you.
What do you say to calls for some sort of universal health care or something like Medicare for all from some of the other people running in the Democratic primary?
I think they're well intended. I think they mean it, it's not. I'm not. But here's the deal. Right now, you have this overwhelming number of employers who are paying into the health care plan. Why let them off the hook? All of a sudden, they don't have to pay anything? What happens then to this whole thing about profit and the rest? I mean, it should be part of the compensation if you have it.
Employers offering health care to their employees is one of the main ways that they exert undue influence over your life. That's how they abuse their authority over you. You know, it happens often in the U.S., and people in other developed countries would be horrified by this. But in the U.S., people oftentimes take jobs that they don't want simply because they need the health care. Another thing is people struggle leaving one employer and going to another because many people know, hey, in this transition period, I won't have health care, and it could be unmanageable for me or unaffordable or even deadly in that brief time between switching jobs, so I'm kind of forced to keep the job I'm in. That's like a weird modern version of indentured servitude. It's like, oh, you want to leave? Sure, go right ahead, but, you know, you won't have health care and you need that medicine, and without your health insurance, that medicine is going to be unaffordable, so maybe you go without your medicine for 3 weeks while you get your new job, or you could just stay here, and then you definitely won't be in the hospital or die. Having healthcare tied to your employers is like the worst possible system. The worst conceivable system. It's as bad as it gets. And Joe Biden tried to co-opt leftist rhetoric to make the case for that. So in other words, he was like, why are you letting the employers off the hook, bro? What are you, like, for big business or something? Oh, that's the argument you're going to use, big guy? You want to get tough on big business? You want to get tough on the employers? Here's an idea. How would you like to put 80% of the health insurance companies out of business? Is that tough enough for you on big business? Oh, that's right. You're against that, and you're against that because that's who you're actually representing with this comment. You're representing all the for-profit health insurance companies. That's who you're really fighting for, the for-profit health insurance companies. So he's trying to mask it by using pseudo-woke rhetoric, but it's transparent to people who know this shit. The question is, will it work on the people who don't know the details of this stuff? And they'll think like, yeah, crack down on the employers. That sounds like kind of populist. No, that's not populist at all. You know what's really populist? Putting 80% of the health insurance companies out of business and only having private health insurance companies for supplemental insurance. So supplemental care. And that's what Medicare for All would do. It would offer supplemental private insurance. The default would be everybody's covered, and everybody's covered at a cheaper price, and we get better health outcomes. We already tried the middle-of-the-road, mealy-mouthed bullshit, okay? We already tried it. That's what Obamacare was. The Heritage Foundation came up with the plan. Newt Gingrich and Chuck Grassley used to support it. Those flaming lefties. And the idea was, let the for-profit health insurance companies continue to run the show, and we'll just mandate people buy it from them, and we'll have some mild regulations to prevent their worst abuses. It's better reform than nothing, but guess what? It's been implemented for a while, and you know what the results are? It always hovers around 50% approval. Sometimes it's below 50%, sometimes it's just above 50%, but that's where it's going to top out at. Why? Because you still have people getting fucking robbed blind. You still have medical bankruptcies. You still have tens of millions of people who are uninsured. It's a disaster, and his answer is more of the same. His answer is maybe slightly expand Obamacare. And by the way, if you start with that as your position, or public option as your position, you're going to get nothing. You're going to get nothing. It's only the people who are asking for the best, furthest left idea who are going to get anything at all accomplished, because that's how negotiation works in our system. So it is, God, he's so shitty, man. He's so shitty. He's a status quo defender, and he's trying to come up with clever new arguments to defend the status quo. Like pretending Medicare for all is not hard enough on employers. Oh, please. He wants to keep this system of like indentured servitude where you struggle switching jobs because you don't want to lose your health insurance. There is nothing that is more progressive about that position.